Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts, see what the story is and what it may be. And remember, if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet, okay? I'm going to start with Bitcoin because if you are in the Discord or you're a member, you know we were long Bitcoin, but last night I ended up closing the long, and thankfully so, as we see what's happening today. And my apologies for not doing an update yesterday. I wasn't feeling very well, a little under the weather, so I just couldn't muster the strength to do it. So I hope you forgive me. But today I'll try and be as clear as I can be and give you my thinking, and I'll try and keep it as concise and structured as possible. So I'm gonna start with Bitcoin. I'm gonna go over exactly where we closed the short, closed the long, why we closed the long, and what I'm seeing happening in the short term. Okay, so here is Bitcoin. So we end up going long on the 26th. We got in around, I want to say 40,000, maybe a little under. Forgive me, somewhere around the bottom of this candle here. And then for the next 2 days, day and a half, it had a nice rise, and I was able to get out around 40,100, somewhere in that ballpark. So we made a good 5-6% within that 2 day period. And it worked out pretty well considering now today we're seeing a pretty nice sell-off, about 3.5%. As we come closer towards the bottom of this larger structure, the orange line here, so as we're approaching the orange trend line here, which is the bottom of the larger structure, right? So as I've been saying over and over, this is midterm bearish, okay? So you have this larger rising structure. You have from the red line to the orange line, which you can consider a bear flag, and then from the green line to the black line here, you can consider that a wedge. And same thing with the black line to the orange line. So, all bearish, rising wedges and bearish flags all forming here. So, if you've been following a lot of social medias, a lot of different creators, they're all like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, for us, we knew what was going to happen because it's all within this structure. If you've noticed, since the service start, all our trades have been within this structure with Bitcoin. We've gone long, we've gone short, and we made our money both ways, and we've been blessed. And hopefully, I'm going to knock on some wood. Hopefully, we continue our success. We haven't had one loss in crypto yet. So hopefully that continues. I'm sure eventually we will have our losses. It's going to happen. But as of right now, we haven't. And we're just going to continue to do what we've been doing, which is being patient, vigilant, and nimble, and making sure that we keep our risk under control. And that way, when we do have losses, it won't be catastrophic. And when we have wins, they will be aplenty, right? So as Bitcoin comes down towards this orange line, look for, in my opinion, you'll probably have a decent bounce. Depending on how fast it comes into this line, we could see it maybe snap back towards 40,000. It may just stop at 39,500, somewhere in that ballpark. And if it's really, really, really heavy as it comes in, let's say it pierces, let's say it goes down through here and pierces and then gets bought back up right here, back to the orange line, then do not be surprised if you see move back to 41,500. Again, remember, they're going to try and catch as many longs as possible, as many, I hate using the term, but dumb money buyers as possible, especially algorithmic traders who are quant, they're chasing momentum. Anything like that they'll try to catch. The smart money sellers, okay, the smart shorts, they're going to try and catch as many of those as possible because eventually the probabilities are very clear, okay, in this structure from an all-time high coming down all the way about 40 to 60% retracement, okay, and then having a bearish rising structure. In Dow trend theory, it's very clear what that means. You have over a 75% chance for that rising structure to break bearish, okay? So in that environment, you're likely going to see here towards this level here, if we have another run up higher from this orange line being visited, that the next time we visit the orange line, it will likely break and we'll get towards 33,000, 30,000, maybe even 29,000 before our next major move higher, okay? So as this stuff plays out, I'll make sure I keep my eye on it. Of course, like always, my charts are my life, so I'll make sure that I keep my eyes going, focused on the charts, and if I see anything any possible entries, I will take them and immediately alert the Discord. So if you're going to follow trades, you've been following my trades, make sure that those alerts are on, okay? So we're likely going to see the orange line tested within the weekend. We'll see how price interacts. If it comes in slowly rather than quickly, then what I will tell you, that's more bearish, all right? That's more bearish in the short term rather than, somewhat bullish, okay? Because a faster drop would be more bullish in the short term, not bearish. So let's just say it came down slowly like this. It would likely grind on this and then start a corrective or a bearish consolidation above this support. So that would mean it's very likely going to attempt to find the fuel to break under. So we won't see a significant rise higher if price comes in slowly into this structure, okay? Because even on the smaller time frames, that slow drop to that support is what? It's probably going to be a downward wedge of some sort, which is bullish. So you'll have a low breakout, and then it'll just veer upwards, and the smart money that's trying to sell to you, that those smart sellers are dragging price higher for the dumb money to buy so they can sell, and eventually, those buyers evaporate, and then boom, it breaks under, okay? So again, either way, it's very likely to break under. If it breaks under, we're looking at 33, 30, and 29,000. Those are the three levels prior to any major bounce, in my opinion. Maybe 34,500. There is some support there, but again, it's not major. All right, so let's take a look at XRP, because I've been looking at that chart lately too. XRP, I've been highlighting 65 cents and 62 cents. As we can see, it's broken through, and now it's sitting at this general zone. So around 60 cents to, so we're going to see it probably range around here. It'll take a lot for this level to break. Bitcoin probably breaking the orange level will probably get this to go lower, but eventually you will probably see XRP get towards 50 cents, okay? So that's likely where I see XRP getting. Whether that's the bottom, I have no idea. I have to see how Bitcoin looks, but as Bitcoin breaks that orange level, you're likely going to see XRP getting towards 50 cents. And again, you also have the legal troubles that Ripple's having. So that's another outlier. We really don't know how it's going to affect XRP if it comes to be a bad outcome for Ripple. And if it's a good outcome for Ripple, we actually don't know how that'll interact either, because we don't know how high it may go, or if it'll just ignore the news and continue to go sideways. Again, we really don't know. All we know is the structure tells us we're likely to go lower towards 50 cents, especially since Bitcoin is looking as bearish as it does. All right. So if you're in XRP, prepare yourself for possibly lower levels. And if you're looking to acquire XRP, again, not financial advice. You may be able to get better prices lower, but do keep in mind they do have some legal issues that really can't be charted. All right. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum. So as we see, I got some doodles that I'll keep the doodles there actually because they're from before, I think. So as we can see, I've been indicating that we have this thick black line here, this ascending trend line, very strong support. Okay, I think I've said before, this line is very unlikely to break until Bitcoin starts breaking under that orange line. Okay, so Ethereum is likely to hold this level as well until Bitcoin starts breaking that level. All right, that's very important trend line for Ethereum. As we can see, it goes all the way back towards the 2020s. It's a very important line for it to hold. So once it breaks, it's very likely going to come to these levels of 2300 and then lower. I mean, you're probably going to see Ethereum towards 1500, 1600 at some point if that should play out. Okay, because you have, it's again very similar to Bitcoin. From the all-time high, massive drop. All right, about 50 to 60% drop from that all-time high. Maybe 40% in this case if my eyes aren't playing tricks on me, and then a ascending pattern, okay, an ascending pattern off of a major trend line here. So look how far back this red trend line goes. Okay, look at all the pivots it hits, and then you have this black trend line that plays all supports here. Okay, this is likely going to break lower. All right, because remember, bearish patterns tend to veer up, and the most bearish, the most probable ones to play out are at 45-degree angles to 35-degree angles. And same with bullish. They tend to veer downwards at a 45 to 35 degree angle. All right. and you have to, like that's once you can start seeing the charts that way, it gets fairly simple what you're looking for. And the hardest part of it is the discipline rather than the actual viewing of the chart. All right. So look for Ethereum to start breaking lower once Bitcoin gets to the orange line and starts showing weakness there. All right. And again, sub 2000 is fairly likely in that environment. Anything else? I do want to keep this fairly short. Again, most crypto looks exactly the same. Let's actually look at ApeCoin. I'm gonna look at ApeCoin and then I'm gonna close it out on ApeCoin. Because Ape was actually doing something differently compared to Bitcoin. It was showing relative strength, because it was going higher as Bitcoin was going lower. But look at this. This is great. So I posted, I think it was either the video before or the day before. I said ApeCoin was showing some fairly fraudulent behavior in its order books, at least in Bybit and Binance. And I warned, it's likely going to break through here. And if it does, you'll likely see a hard denial once they stop doing their fraudulent behavior, which is probably the ApeCoin team. Again, I don't have any evidence of that. I'm just saying, that's usually how this goes. And I'm not trying to slander anyone or anything like that. It's just the amount of money that was being thrown into the order books on Binance and then disappearing. I can't imagine anyone else but the Ape developers having that amount of ApeCoin, to do something like that. So as we see, they got a hard denial towards $27, $28, and now all the retail traders that got caught on to this, and also the quant traders. People gotta understand. Quant, you're chasing after volatility, you're chasing after momentum. So if you're seeing a breakout, something like going up 6%, what are they doing? Those bots are going towards a breakout trade. They got wrecked. Okay, they got wrecked, and I get that's just how it is. And the big money, which in this case, in my opinion, is probably the dev team, sold hard because they were probably the ones spoofing the damn order book on Binance and Bybit during this whole point. It came right back into the wedge, all right? And now it's slowly going to confirm its breakdown of this rising wedge, which in this structure, so if this overall market structure is pretty bearish, you're likely going to see it come back down to 1550 to 13.57, all right? It's bearish in the short term. It's actually decently bullish in the long term, by the way. So if it can hold 1550, and then pretty much go into an accumulation phase, okay, that's actually pretty bullish. Because then this just becomes the all-time high, and then you're going to have an accumulation phase with small distribution phases, and eventually a continuation higher. That could be months, that could be years. I'm not sure, but the point is, this was very likely to play out. And again, you gotta remember, ApeCoin, its lifespan is so much smaller compared to all the other cryptos, especially Bitcoin. It's going to be in a different cycle structure. But here was a key hint as to why ApeCoin went down, outside of it painting this bearish wedge. You gotta remember, look at crypto to what it is. It's an index. Okay, they all follow Bitcoin because most exchanges are tied via Tether, and Tether is tied via Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is going to move down 5%, you got most crypto that's going to move down 8 to 10%. Bitcoin has the majority of the dominance of the index for the overall market. It's about 40% right now. So if you have Bitcoin that's going down, while ApeCoin, which I don't know what its current percentage regarding its dominance in the crypto market, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot lower than 40%. If it's going up while Bitcoin's going down, well, all that's telling me is eventually it's going to go down. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same behavior you'll see between the Russell 2000 and the S&P 500. If the S&P is going down and the Russell's not, well, then that just means the Russell will eventually. Okay, eventually can mean days, months, some days, weeks, sometimes months. I've even seen maybe a year, but in the end, it does follow suit. Okay, it does follow suit, and ApeCoin's no different. ApeCoin is no different. So as we see, hard denial, back tried to hold the wedge of support, which was interesting. Then it created a bearish consolidation. So on the smaller time frames, you're likely seeing this as like a rising wedge, and then this had a hard sell-off from there, about 14%, and now it's under the level, and we'll see if it can confirm under the level. So if it starts closing below 19.20 1928, 1930. You're probably going to see that continuation down, have some demand towards $17 to $18, and maybe come back up, and then eventually break lower, and it's just going to veer its way all the way down to $15 and change, and maybe even lower towards $13.50. All right. Again, I'm not familiar with ApeCoin in regards to like all its fundamentals. To me, it's just another meme coin. I don't care. I've been getting messages about it. Okay. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. People tell me it's like the future, yada yada, that a bunch of institutions are involved. I don't care. Okay. I've come from that world. If you think banks don't like playing sentiment, that's how they make money. Okay. If you have a financial institution that thinks people love ApeCoin, they're gonna be an ApeCoin, because their job is not for ApeCoin to succeed. Their job is to take your money. They only care about making money, and someone has to lose it for them to make money. All right, it's not that hard. Luna, Solana, Avalanche, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Tron, Doge, it's all the same. It's all the same to them. It's the same to me. Okay, they're just units, assets to make money. I do not care what you believe, because they don't care what you believe. Do not be like the rest of the market. Okay, you're not buying technology. You're buying an asset to become rich, and you don't fall in love with the asset. Okay, you fall in love with it after it makes you a couple million. Then sell it and then talk great about it. That's how you should fall in love with assets. Don't fall in love with it while you're in it. Okay, that's my advice to you. It'll work out better, I can promise. All right, I think that's all today. So pretty much, again, look for Bitcoin to get towards that bottom part of the structure, which is the orange line, and then once we get there, I'm looking to see a fairly decent bounce, maybe even all the way back to 42,000. It really depends on how negative the market gets. Okay, but eventually we are very likely to see under that orange line, going towards 30,000 and sub 30,000. Okay, so if you're following the trades with me, please make sure you control your risk. Please make sure that you have the alerts on. You know exactly what I'm doing. If you don't want to trade without me, make sure you're following what I'm doing. But most of all, make sure you're taking care and not exposing yourself too much. Okay? All right. So everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. Love you guys. Take care.